Welcome to another episode of TNT Takes. I'm with Trey Sizemore. I'm Tyler Schoonover. Today we'll be discussing a lot of playoff action, a lot of awards that have been handed out, and some player comparisons at the end. Let's get it. Just to get it out of the way, we'll start with the Nets and Bucks series of round two.
Let's go Bucks! Let's go Bucks!
Yeah, the Bucks pulled it off in seven somehow. Yeah, I don't have much faith in the Bucks. I mean, they did just whoop up on the Hawks, but I mean, the only reason we lost is because of injuries, 100%. But can't really make that excuse. Everybody has injuries in the playoffs, but nobody's winning without their two of their three best stars. Like I said, the Bucks aren't that impressive. I mean, they barely got past just KD and some role players.
Mm-hmm.
They took them to 7. I don't think Budenholzer's good coach at all. He doesn't make any adjustments. But yeah, I think the biggest thing also is that game 3 that we lost. We needed that victory. If we win game 3, I think it seals it. Biggest takeaway is that KD played one of the greatest series of all time.
KD is an animal. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he went off.
I've had a lot of hatred towards KD. I have for a long time, but this series changed a lot how I thought about him.
Well, the only time that I hated him was the same time that I had a issue with LeBron as well, as when they joined up with a super team. I know LeBron's was a little different, but I still didn't like it when he did it because he joined 2 other stars but now everybody does that, so it's not that big of a deal. But when KD joined the 73-win Warriors, when he was 1 win away from beating them, that was when I didn't like him.
Yeah.
But of course, if he's going to join your favorite team,
oh yeah,
you're not going to dislike him. And he's one of my favorite players now.
He comes over to the Heat, I'd be a fan of him. Like
that's how I feel about like Marcus Smart and PJ Tucker and guys like that too. I hate them when I'm playing them.
I hate
Beverly. If they're on my team, I'm gonna be like, yes.
Passion. But I feel like he'd be one of my favorite players.
Exactly, because it's fun when he pisses people off, and it's for your team. When he's pissing off your team, it's not so fun. You have anything on the series? Because I think that's already been played out.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah,
it'd have been nice to see
earlier.
It would have been nice to see a healthy Harden.
Yeah, would have. I think one healthy star and we win that series easily.
Yeah,
there's one either Kyrie. I mean, even with Kyrie, we were 2-0, and then in that game 3 we should have won, but he got hurt in game 4. That was the decider basically.
And we talked about it. Overrated. You still think Giannis is overrated?
I do a little bit. Yeah, I think that. I was a little annoyed by when it first happened. So of course I said Middleton's better. I don't think Middleton's actually better.
I don't think he's a better all-around basketball player. I think he's a better offensive player. But Giannis is just a glorified big man right now. He's got the speed of a small forward, but he's the size of a center.
Yeah, he has to figure out a jump shot sometime.
Yeah.
And when are they ever going to call a 10-second rule on him? My God.
We got it once.
We got it once. And I saw a post that said the Hawks are actually really mad that the NBA is just choosing to ignore Giannis's free throws. And I'm like, so were we. So were Miami. Everybody's pissed.
Our fans had to count out loud for them to finally call it.
So we were counting out loud all series. And then
we were too, and they called it once.
Yep. They get to 13, 14 every single time, and we're just standing there. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you not counting yourself? No, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
Shoot the ball.
And then the way I see it is you have the rule or you don't.
Yeah.
Fuck it. If you're not going to call it, just say there's no rule. So say it's like a 15-second or 20-second or some bullshit like that. But yeah, the Nets are done, so we'll just move on to the Nets offseason tasks that I think need to be done. We need to fix for our rebounding for sure. I'm not sure who's really out there bigs-wise. Maybe we can find. I mean, Blake Griffin's a decent option, but
he's not a rebounder.
He's like the last guy that I'm worried about re-signing.
The one thing I don't know if he's a free agent this year, but who I think would be a great fit to come back to the Nets would be Brook Lopez. If you guys could somehow find a way to get him back to the Nets, but
I don't think he's a free agent. But yeah, Brook Lopez isn't like a rebounder, but he is a rim protector, which is nice. And
he was out rebounding Bam.
I mean, their whole PJ Tucker was out rebounding you guys. Giannis was out rebounding. Yeah.
Well, Giannis.
But yeah, I think that rebounding needs to be solved this offseason. And then, but the biggest thing, I think we need to re-sign Jeff Green and Bruce. Mm-hmm. Those are the two guys that I want. Bruce kind of blew game 3, but other than that, he was pretty good. And then Blake is like that third guy that I doubt we sign back. Somebody's going to pay. Somebody's going to pay him more.
Yeah, I think some team who's actually still in the hunt, because they can tell that he tries more for teams that are playoff teams. Yeah. I think he's going to get a contract for some team, but I don't think he's going back to Nets.
No,
I can see like the Suns maybe as a bench big.
Yeah, it's better than Sarge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, we probably can sign and trade Dinwiddie to somewhere. I'm hoping we can do that. Yeah, who are you gonna give us?
Let's give you Duncan Robinson. Sign and trade switch. There you go.
Shit, I'll take Duncan. I don't know. He didn't shoot that well either. So
he had one off here.
Harris.
We just need to go younger at point guard.
We need to talk about Joe Harris.
Joe Harris?
We need to talk a little bit about Joe Harris.
He had plenty of time that last game to end it, to take his time on the shot. No one even ran out to him. He rushed the shot.
Yeah, I know. And there was under a minute left. That probably seals the game if he hits it.
I thought he made it. Like, literally, I was like, oh, he makes that.
Yeah. I could see if he was hitting all game, and that's the one he misses, I'd be like, damn, I can't really dog on him for that because he's been hitting all game. It happens. Yeah, it was just brick city for him ever since game 3. And game 3 was another one where if he hits shots, we win that one. So this series, I think, is an easy win if Joe Harris hits some shots. And then
if Joe Harris played like he did in the regular season, you guys win that series. Just Harris.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
I know. And then Nets Twitter's all about, get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
We're not going to trade him because I don't see any...
The Heat Twitter page, they're like, get rid of Jimmy because he can't lead. Like, Jimmy can lead. He had one bad series. And
that's how I feel about Joe. He's had one bad series. So I'm not going to really – I'm going to give him a year. I'm not gonna, if he does it next playoffs and you're like, all right, he can't perform in the playoffs, find somebody else. But at this point, who are you going to trade for that can fill his role or do better?
There's no shooter right now that's like the same type of role he is that can do this. Yeah,
exactly. And I don't see – I mean – of course, you'd rather have like Klay Thompson, but there's no way you're getting to Klay Thompson. So I just don't see a trade for him. But I think that he'll be just fine next year. It's just he's going to need that break.
In my opinion, you need, like, if you guys don't bring Dinwiddie back and he goes up somewhere else, you guys need to find a bench role player like a LeVert or Dinwiddie, because when Kyrie and Harden are on the floor, you guys need another guy who can score like LeVert was. That's my biggest thing. They need more role players.
You said when they're off the court?
Scorers. Yeah, when they're off the court.
Yeah. See, the way that when they're all healthy, though, the way that they rotate them is it's, like they did with Chris Paul and James Harden. It was just constant rotation to where one of them's almost always on the floor with that bench unit, and then they're, on the floor without each other because they're both those ball-dominant type of players. But I think that we do need a scorer off the bench. That's why I was surprised we kept starting Joe Harris. I thought we'd put him to the bench, so then we'd have somebody off the bench that could score. And even though he wasn't hitting shots, but maybe that would get him to start hitting shots.
Yeah.
But we didn't ever try anything like that. So Nash is partially to blame for this loss too, but I'm not going to put it on Nash hardly at all. He did just fine.
For his first ever playoff appearance as a coach, I think he did fine.
Yeah, he did.
Can't really do much with no one healthy.
Yeah, in the game, exactly. And took it to game 7. Made more adjustments than Budenholzer.
I never thought he was a good coach.
Yeah, I thought that he would be because he came from Popovich, but
forever.
He was the assistant to Popovich for like 18 years or something crazy.
It's like didn't the Celtics new coach come from you guys that they just got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know how to say his first name.
I don't know how to say his name. He was under Popovich too for a while.
Yeah, he was. But he was expected to get a head coaching job along with, of course, D'Antoni could too. And then Jack Vaughn was another head coaching candidate. So all 3 of those were our assistants this year. That's why I think Nash had so much success too, because he had so many other head coaches, like kind of like the Lakers had.
This wasn't something we talked about, but it just came to my mind. Who do you think of these two teams with their new head coaches are going to do better? The Mavs with Kidd or the Blazers with Chauncey?
I think I don't see the Blazers doing much more than they are unless they make a big move.
Exactly.
So I think that the Mavs have a better chance because the Mavs have more upside with Luka still having a whole other year to develop even more, and then also they'll probably make another move. And I think they still have the higher chance of getting further in the playoffs. I don't think the Blazers really have anything besides Dame. They really need to.
The Blazers, in my opinion, have to get rid of McCollum. This is the year that you have to get rid of him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we'll talk about later because we're going to talk about trades later on. So we'll get into that later on.
Yeah. Well, to finish the Nets offseason, I think we need to find a wing defender and then do something with DeAndre. I don't care if you cut him. I don't care if you trade him. I don't care what you do. But he's a 10 million, 11 million, whatever he is, just sitting on the bench getting no playing time. It's not worth it. A little surprise here. We'll go on to the next series. I was surprised the Hawks actually did beat the Sixers. That was your decision. You did choose that. Yeah. I think it's time Simmons go. Simmons needs to go.
100% gone.
And
later, I have him in a deal later on. I have him in a deal later on that we're going to talk about. That I think fits two teams perfectly.
We can. I mean, I have it on this one just because we're gonna get past the Sixers and move on to the next one after this. But so if you just want to talk about some trade thoughts with Simmons.
In my opinion,
I have possibles as Beal and McCollum. Those are my two.
See, my biggest one, I don't think Beal would work because him and Russ, unless they're trading Russ.
Yeah, if they trade Beal, I think they're going to do something with Russ too because it's pointless to have a guy like Russ when you're in a rebuild phase.
But my biggest thing is you move Ben Simmons to a Draymond Green type of role. Play the 3, play the 4, get him out of try to be the main ball handler, let him just get average stats throughout, and trade him straight up for CJ, and give Dame, if you're going to keep Dame, give Dame an athletic wing type forward who can do the slashing type plays, and then dribble up the court when Dame's not in, still do his role, but not be the main priority ball handler. If he gets like 10, 10, and 10, I'll take that over him, what he did with the Eastern against the Hawks.
Yeah, I understand he's not. If you're going to trade him to a team that already has a point guard, he's going to have to play that 3 role. But him as a 3 is useless because he literally cannot shoot outside the paint. So I mean,
maybe that right hand jumper is going to start working.
Yeah, we'll see. But his only positive is that he's a good playmaker. And so to take the ball out of his hands, it eliminates that positive, and then you're kind of a useless guy that can just catch lobs or slash. I mean, that's it.
I saw another one, and it was I was reading a Bleacher Report thing, and it said Simmons to the Nuggets for Aaron Gordon and Gary Harris, or to the Mavericks for sign and trade with trade for Porzingis. But I was like, Porzingis and Embiid, I still don't think would be a good combo.
I don't know. I think Porzingis and Embiid would be better than Simmons and Embiid.
I think it would be better than this, but I don't think it's worth that trade.
I think they could find better.
Yeah.
But I think that I saw Nick Wright said that if you did Kyrie for Simmons swap, both teams get better. That's what he said. And I was like, I don't see us getting better from that because it literally eliminates a lot of offense.
He's thinking about getting rid of offense and getting a defender, which you guys do need.
We do need a defender. But how does him and Harden play together?
Yeah. I don't know. That's something. Harden be the main ball handler. Like
Sixers definitely get better at that.
Oh, Sixers. Embiid and Kyrie, that'd be nasty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see it working both ways, like he's saying, because you have Durant and Harden. But look in this series. If Harden goes down, it's just Durant again. Yeah, you don't have another scorer.
Yeah, we saw Simmons without. I mean, we saw Simmons be a second option. It's not good.
That's another thing. I could see it working both ways.
Yeah, but
if the Nets get some more scores on the bench, then I can see it working. But if it falls down to how it did with injuries, swap them right now. Does Ben Simmons help right there against the Bucks with Harden out? I don't think it does.
Well, if Kyrie's out, yeah.
You think if they're both out right now, like Kyrie's gone and Harden's hurt like he is, and it's just Durant and Simmons, you think they beat
Oh yeah, because it's another star. Of course. I mean, I don't know if we win.
I still think it finishes.
I don't know. I think we actually win because we have another star. I mean, that dude can get to the basket. I mean, I know that he didn't have a good series, but I think it's basically
I think Giannis is going to be guarding him the whole time, that whole series too. So
yeah, but that takes Giannis off of somebody else.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't really guarding Durant really either.
No,
saying
but
defensive player of the year. That reward needs to go to someone else. You're not. He goes, I plan on guarding him next game, and doesn't even guard him the whole game.
He doesn't guard anybody. He's not that good of a defender on a quick guy that can, because I mean he's good on guards because he can block them off the glass, and he's good on bigs because he's just as strong, long, and faster than them. But against a guy like Kevin Durant, who can guard?
No one can guard Kevin Durant.
Exactly. But a guy like that, he can't use his length very well, and he can't keep up with him laterally. So I mean, Kevin Durant is just a one of a kind that's tough to guard. So, but yeah, he's not. I don't know who is. If the defensive player of the year, former defensive player of the year, can't guard him, then I don't think anybody can.
Yeah.
But that's why he's one of the best scorers of all time. Move on to the Clippers and Jazz series. I was right on that one.
I was hoping the Jazz are going to pull it out, but
they should have.
Yeah, I thought they were, but
Clippers end up winning 4 straight after going down 0-2. Even without Kawhi, the last two. I think Kawhi without the last two. I don't know how they didn't capitalize on that, especially with like a 25-point lead in one of those games.
You can tell it's new to be in the playoff scene too. How the Jazz are. Coach is not used to it. Players aren't used to it.
It's kind of like the Sixers too. They've lose some leads, and it's just some teams that just are regular season teams, and they just don't have it in the playoffs.
It's also hard being a team like the Jazz, depending on a player like Donovan Mitchell. He's a stud. Yeah, he's a great ball player, but he's also young, not used to the playoff environment and all that stuff. It's totally different than going against someone like Paul George and Kawhi, who've been there. Yep. Kawhi's been through a lot.
The Nuggets and Suns. You had the Nuggets. I didn't know why you chose the Nuggets.
But I'm a Michael Porter Jr. fan, man. Like,
yeah. I have a question. Do you think the Nuggets win if they had Jamal Murray?
No.
I don't think so either. And that's why I think that
if I can go back, that's the one vote I change. Just for how I've been on this against the Suns all year, even beginning of the year when I was like, no. Devin Booker's an animal this year. Chris Paul, when he's able to play, he's been killing it. Like, that's a perfect rounded team. They got the role players to go around Devin Booker, and Ayton's been killing it.
Yeah. And not that this changed any part of the game, but that Jokic ejection, did you see that?
Yeah. His brother's kind of scary.
Huh?
His brothers are kind of scary. You see him standing up trying to get on the court?
Do you think that was a legit ejection, or do you think that it was just kind of soft?
It was soft.
Yeah, I don't see why they had to eject him. You know how many he was going for the
ball.
Payne
was laying there for a long time. I'm swipe on the nose.
You know the nose gets all water. You know your eyes get all watery. That stuff burns for a little bit, but I think that they kind of overreacted on that one. It was a basketball move. It deserves a flagrant because it was a big swipe, but it's not like he was trying to purposely.
A lot of calls like that have been like that this year, though. There's been a lot of soft calls for ejections.
There is
stuff. It's like, man.
Yeah, it's been kind of soft on that. I had some stuff about Chris Paul going into COVID protocols, but that's all over with now.
So did he actually get COVID, or was it because he went in the stands to hug his mom?
I heard that he actually had it.
So that's what I heard too, but then I heard someone else report that it was because he got in the stands to hug his mom after that game.
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened, but I think that either way, if it's that, then it's stupid.
Yeah.
You know that guy that's saying Suns in 4, the guy that's all over the place?
Yeah.
Why is he getting so much media attention?
I don't know, because it's not like you knocked the dude out.
Well, not even that, but most people get kicked out for fighting in the game.
Most guys
get banned for fighting in the game. This guy
because he guessed it right, Suns in 4?
The game was already over when that was happening. It was literally game 4, and it was already almost over. But this guy's getting interviews, shirts made for him. Superstars like Devin Booker are sending him things and messaging him and stuff like that. I don't know how that's promoting anything good and why it's.
I remember him saying that they were harassing him all game, dumping beer on him and stuff like that. But it's like still, I would if he would have one punch knocked him out. All right, yeah, get Devin Booker, give him some tickets.
Yeah, I think it's stupid that he's getting so much media attention. If I were to go fight in a fucking arena, I'd get banned and kicked out and anything like that. But we'll just move on to the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. You got the Suns or the Clippers?
Suns. Hopping on it now, Suns.
I've been rolling with the Clippers all playoffs.
You think Paul George is going to lead them to the finals?
I have to choose them. I've been going with them all playoffs.
You've been going with
them all playoffs. And when in doubt, I'm going with Ty Lue, baby.
That was the dumbest thing you could have ever said.
Yeah, Ty Lue. When he's
it's not no
back against the wall, it's over. He's gonna win it.
You're gonna see, just like playoff Pete missed those 2 free throws at the end of that game. No, he's not doing it.
They should have won that game.
Yeah, he can't make clutch free throws. He's not clutch.
Yeah.
Ayton, now pass from Crowder to Ayton, that was clutch.
I don't know how you let that happen when there's.
I don't know how Boogie just stands here and he's the tallest dude out there. And you're standing right over it. You don't tip it or nothing.
Who, Zubac?
No, fucking Boogie. Face guarding Crowder. Booker had a great.
I don't know how Zubac lets him dunk over the top of him on an inbound like
Zubac's
that.
goofy. I thought he was since the Lakers.
Did you see his game?
That block was nice. That's when
he had like 15 and 15 the other day.
Oh yeah, but that block at the end of that game was nice when when Cameron Payne tried driving.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, he got past him. I was like, damn, Zubac.
Cameron Payne got hurt though.
He's actually been pretty decent. But he's a pretty decent piece for that team. He's playing a lot better than I thought he would.
Clippers, here they come.
No. The only person that bothers me so much is Beverly. I hate Beverly so much.
Terrence Mann's about to have another 39-point game.
Man, that was a one fluke thing. Terrence Mann is awful.
We got Bucks and Hawks. Do it.
I'm rolling with the Hawks.
I'm definitely going Bucks. I'm
rolling with the Hawks. I've chosen them every series. I'm rolling with the Hawks.
Yeah, except last pod when you said the Bucks are going to win the finals. So
yeah, but that was just against the Nets. It's like I was saying because the Nets.
Yeah, I got the Bucks winning with ease, especially after a 40-point game like that. Even though the Hawks just had to get one in Milwaukee, now they just got to keep winning at home and they'll be fine.
Well, it's really bad when Trae Young scores 15 and he's the leading scorer.
Well, yeah, when you don't play the whole fourth, and
I'm just saying in general, he missed a lot of shots. It was not like him. I turned it on after work, and I saw the score. I was like, right back off.
Yeah, I kept checking, and I was like, oh, they're down 17, they're down 20, and I was like, oh, they're down.
I saw 30. I was like, yeah, I'm turning it off.
So move on to some off-season stuff. Maybe some big news like Porzingis isn't happy, and maybe if Dame is on the move, or if Simmons. I mean, we already talked about Simmons. Maybe Kuzma. But yeah, we'll start with Porzingis. He said he wasn't happy. Now I think he kind of retracted that a little bit. But
is he saying he's happy now?
Yeah, he kind of said that. I don't know. He came out and said something else, but when he first came out, he said that he feels like a second option rather than a co-star. And but I mean, he wasn't playing like a co-star.
Tim Hardaway Jr. was a co-star for that team.
And when Luka wasn't on the court that whole series, they were negative 43 in the series. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that should be some of the time when he should be shining. When Luka,
that should have been when Kristaps was proving he was a co-star.
Yeah, and I mean, even watching him though, he wasn't aggressive when he had the ball. He wasn't rebounding.
He would, if he was at the 3, he would literally hold it for 1 second and pass it every single time.
Yeah. He was always looking to pass. His rebounding was awful. Shooting percentage wasn't bad, but he only shot the ball like 10, 12 times a game. And then one of the most passive stars I've seen, like we were saying. And then, I mean, at least in that series he was.
Mm-hmm.
I think Luka could make some smarter decisions when he's playing alongside Kristaps, because there's a lot of times where
There was a couple pick and pops that he didn't pass to Kristaps. But I think it's just Luka Young trying to lead the team.
And I don't know how much of it was Rick Carlisle's offense.
Yeah, true. I think Jason Kidd's going to help him a lot.
Yeah.
Being a
I
mentor
think
for
Jason Kidd will change that team. So if they do decide to trade Porzingis, which sounds like it's less and less of a time right now, I'll go with one of my destinations, and then you can go with one of yours. I have the Pacers for Miles Turner. Miles Turner and Jeremy Lamb to make the contracts match. Maybe they throw in a second round pick or two, the Mavs. I think that's the most fair option. I kind of like that. You get Sabonis at the 5 because Sabonis is more of an inside player, anyways. And then the lineup of Brogdon, LeVert, Warren, Porzingis, and Sabonis isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
They needed improvement, anyways. They kind of didn't do that well, and then Miles Turner seems to be hurt a lot for them. And I think the Mavs need that 5, a 5 that can kind of knock down mid-range, knock down threes occasionally.
Yeah.
I like Miles Turner. Jeremy Lamb will be a solid wing defender for him, since they're probably not going to re-sign Josh Richardson. He had a bad year. But you got any destinations?
One I was looking for. I was kind of torn. Like I could see the Hornets going after him, but I don't see a lot of options they'd send back that I think would help the Mavs right now.
Definitely don't want that Gordon Hayward contract.
Exactly. But after this guy got traded, and I know some teams are looking at him, I could see a Kristaps for Kemba trade.
I have that on here too.
I think it fits in. The Thunder don't need Kemba. They already have young guards. They could use being a young big, move Porzingis over there, and have Kemba as a second behind Luka. I think it'd be nice.
Yeah, one thing that I saw.
But like you said, bigs. I think Mavs need a big.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kemba too, but when he got traded to the Thunder, I don't see the Thunder really wanting Kristaps. I mean, because they'll probably.
I could see him do Kristaps and a pick for Kemba. They'll accept it. They'll accept any pick.
Well, yeah, but they're not gonna. I mean, I don't think the Mavs want to get rid of a pick and Kristaps just for Kemba.
I don't know.
Be like, hey, give me a pick with Kemba, and then maybe we'll do it. But they're not going to get rid of a pick.
I could see doing it though too. But it's kind of like because like they with Chris Paul, they could get Kristaps 1 year if he shines, trade him for a pick.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but it's just I don't see it for the Mavs side. I don't think it would be.
That's what I think. I think that's I like that Pacers one a lot more. But if I had to pick another one, I think Kemba and Porzingis swap would help both teams.
What about maybe a CJ and Porzingis swap? I
was thinking that.
I think they can get more for CJ.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think if you have a chance to go after a Ben Simmons for CJ or Kristaps, you're going to go after that Ben Simmons. Yeah, I think his ceiling's higher than Kemba's right now.
Yeah, I just don't see that Ben Simmons fitting in there, so I wouldn't see them doing that. I don't know, though. I think that what I saw from NBA Analysis, this Michael Balco guy, he posted a trade scenario, and he said Norman Powell via sign and trade, Robert Covington, and Nasir Little, and a pick for Porzingis. I like Norman Powell, Covington. Those are two really solid role players that can play defense and shoot the three. And then, of course, a pick. Nasir Little has been like...
So in that scenario, do you think they're getting rid of Josh Richardson and Tim Hardaway Jr.? Because they already got...
Well, they're getting rid of... I mean, they're getting rid of Porzingis. Tim Hardaway's a free agent, so is Richardson.
Is Tim Hardaway free agent? I don't know if he had
sounds like they want to sign him back, so he might come back. But, I mean, even if he does, he can come off the bench, or he can be... I mean, it depends on how much you sign him back for. But he can be that too, and then Powell and Covington can be a 3 and 4.
Let's think about one more.
Finney Smith will be off the bench.
A D'Lo Porzingis swap.
Yeah, you could, but I don't know.
Because you got two bigs who can stretch the floor with Cat and Porzingis. You have Anthony Edwards being the main ball handler.
Yeah. I think that they end up trading Towns before anybody. Not for Porzingis, but
yeah.
I think
Towns, where do you think Towns
is going to be unhappy soon? I don't know.
They'll get a lot out of him, I feel.
Yeah, they would. Trade. So I think it'd be a draft day trade where they get picks too, like a second pick overall or something random like that. Where I could see Porzingis though is maybe the Kings giving up Bagley and either Barnes or Hield, whichever one would.
I can probably
make
Hield.
That money
because they've been wanting to get rid of Hield for a while. Because
get
I
that
think
money.
Hield and Bagley for Porzingis. So, gives Luka a shooter.
Porzingis and
maybe Bagley will start playing better with a different team.
Exactly, Bagley is young.
Still young.
Like Porzingis, he came in the same, or like Luka, they came in the same draft, and then Hield can space the floor and shoot really well. So I think that would be a good trade for them to do. Porzingis and picks for Bagley and Hield.
That would actually be pretty solid.
And
the
then
one I saw from
maybe
the Hornets was Rozier and Bridges for Porzingis. But I was like, I don't know how well Rozier and Bridges would be because they're both role players. Like they wouldn't bring a lot to the Mavericks.
I like Rozier because he can play defense and he plays off the ball. He doesn't have to bring the ball down. I mean, they had LaMelo bringing the ball down, so he can obviously play as a two. So Luka can have that too. I also was thinking maybe the Warriors have a Wiggins and Porzingis swap.
Yeah.
Both underperforming.
But they have Wiseman and Draymond. You think they move Wiseman to the bench?
Yeah. He's young and I don't know. He didn't have that great of a year, or Draymond plays. I don't know. Kristaps could be the 3 offensively, and then defensively he'd be the 4, and Draymond would just guard the 3s like he does anyways. Draymond usually guards the better players. So
I can see that.
And just have Draymond setting screens and have Porzingis sitting in the corner, just waiting.
To shoot his 3 or 4 shots a game.
Yep. Instead of their small ball lineup, they're now going big.
Yeah.
Real big. All right, we'll get to the awards right now. Actually, we'll move on to Dame.
I was going to say, was that the only trade we talked about?
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that.
Do I think Dame gets traded? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Is Dame on the move, or should Dame be wanting to leave?
I think Dame should want to leave, but I think with Chauncey, because he said Chauncey was one of the coaches he liked. He wanted them to bring Chauncey or Kidd in as a top 2. I feel they're not going to trade him. I think they're going to finally move on from CJ. And we already mentioned a couple of CJs. There's been a couple more that I've seen, and one was on the Heat website, which I was like, I get it. Giving CJ, maybe he'll do better without Dame being one of the primary ball handlers. And it was Dragic sign and trade with Precious Achiuwa and a first-round pick. And I was like, I could see that. It gives the Blazers a young big who's supposed to be just like Bam. That's why we drafted him. He's a young, athletic big. But I was like, I don't know if that would help the Blazers because I get Dragic off the bench, but I don't think it really helps them in terms of another star with them. I'm not saying he's just a star, really. I think he's a little bit below a star, but above a role player. But I don't think that one actually works, really.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing is I don't know what they're going to get for CJ that really improves them that much.
I think they would have traded like 2 years ago. They would have got a lot more than what they're getting right now.
Possibly, but it just depends on who would have. I don't know. It just depends on how they would have done too. But yeah, I think the Blazers keep Dame. I put on here that it starts with the coach. Obviously, they just signed Billups, and it's kind of somebody he wanted. I had maybe D'Antoni or Becky Hammonds as an option. I think Becky Hammonds needs to find a job. She's a good coach. But the only possible trades that I could see with Dame would have been maybe to the Bucks if they got knocked out to the Nets. They might have been looking to trade Drew Holiday for him or something like that.
They'd have to give up a lot more than Drew Holiday.
Well, Drew Holiday, some picks.
They gave up 6 picks for Drew.
I know. But I'm saying they're going to have to, but the money-wise would probably be there. And then, the Blazers would probably not be looking to be in contention. So whatever young guys they have, they would just be more of a rebuild phase anyway. So, but yeah, I didn't really see that happening anyways. But maybe a Dame for Murray and others. Jamal Murray, maybe he goes to Denver. Murray's young. They're looking to rebuild. Those are the only 2 options that I could have seen. I don't know about now. I'm sure that they keep him now.
Of course, I was wanting the Heat. Give up Tyler Hero. Give up Kendrick Nunn, Dragic. I'm like, hey, go ahead.
You guys are going to end up giving up Hero for CJ. Not bad. But
it's not bad. But compared to what people wanted at first after his playoff performance in the bubble and the players they were linking us to, if they traded Hero for McCollum, I'd be like, rather get Beal, rather get Levine.
One thing, another player, is it time for the Lakers to give up on Kuzma?
Oh, 100%.
I think so too. I think he's reached his potential. I don't think he's I don't think he's worth it.
I think he's gonna play better for someone else, but I don't think he fits with LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Maybe this is another Kings opportunity. The Lakers like shooters. Healed
for Kuzma, straight up.
Yeah, exactly. And the Kings get younger, and they have Halliburton and Fox, Bagley and Kuz, and I don't know though. That team is stupid, so they'll probably do it. And then maybe Kuz and KCP for Kristaps.
That wouldn't be bad. KCP is underrated, in my opinion.
He is, and that's why I think that he would be a decent part of that deal.
He'll guard anybody you want to. You want to put him on Dame, he'll guard Dame.
Yeah.
So I could see that being a decent trade. But I was thinking also, depending on how the Grizzlies handle Jaren Jackson Jr. or Kuzma, could we go with the Grizzlies? Not for Jaren Jackson Jr., not for him. But like for other role players, since they don't know if he's going to be fully healthy and like maybe they don't think that he might come off the bench, so Kuzma in that 4 gives him a chance with Ja.
Yeah, I think that the Lakers will try to find something that gives them shooters or something that gives them a piece that they think that they can make it to the finals with. I don't think
Kelly Olynyk for Kuzma, straight up.
Kelly can't shine in the moment. He'd be ass.
Right, he was shining for Houston.
Yeah, and that's losing 30 games in a row, whatever they lost. We'll get on to the awards real quick.
Wait,
MVP was Jokic.
Do you think Zion and that whole trade request is really him, or do you think it's his family mad about how New Orleans is handling everything?
I don't know. I didn't even see that he requested a trade.
He didn't request it, but his whole family's been out saying how Zion wants traded and Zion needs traded, and they don't like how the Pelicans are handling everything.
There's so much stuff that comes out that's not even like I saw something that said the Nets are unhappy with Kyrie, and I'm like, this comes out every month. Every few months, there's something about.
I've seen that 3 times.
Nets are mad about Kyrie. Nets want to get rid of Kyrie, or Kyrie needs to leave the Nets, and I'm like, I don't even believe anything that comes out anymore. And so I wait until something actually happens to freaking believe it, or until it's more talked about, or the actual player says something. But yeah, for these awards, MVP was Jokic. We both agreed on that one. But I have a question about that. If Joel Embiid played as many games as Jokic, would he be the MVP?
No.
I think he would.
I don't think so.
He was the clear MVP candidate until he got hurt and ended up missing too many games to really be the MVP. But I think that I think that he would have been MVP if he played all season long.
I still think Jokic's the best center in the league, even when Embiid's healthy all the time.
Maybe.
I feel this year that Jokic...
Maybe, but they don't give it to the best player in the league. They don't give it to the best player over... I mean, they give it to the player who had the best regular season, and if Embiid is leading that team to the first seed and playing every single day and averaging 30 and 12 or whatever the fuck he was doing, it's kind of tough to not give it to him. But since he missed too many games, Jokic, of course, didn't miss a single game, carried the Nuggets to top 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. We already talked about most improved, Randall, and 6-man, Clarkson. Have we talked about the coach? I think we did, right? The last one?
I think so, yeah.
Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Thibodeau, whatever it is. And then Defensive Player of the Year was Gobert. Our Defensive Player of the Year is turned into whoever gets the most blocks per game and protects the rim the best. I mean, is Gobert truly the best defender in the NBA?
I don't know. They put KCP above Bam.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that, I mean, Bam didn't have that great of a year. But they do fall in love with blocks. And I mean, that's also wrong, though. I mean, Bam can do more than KCP. He can block the rim and he can defend on the perimeter. I think that him, Giannis, Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, I think that those are Draymond. Those are the type of guys that are actually the best defenders in the league because they can do everything. They can.
If you put Gobert on an island, he's not going to be able to stop him.
Yeah, and then so they just fall in love with that block and that Gobert and his team are in the first seed. It's the same thing with MVP. They just fall in love with who's being blasted through the media and who's getting. Well, I mean, Gobert's not really shown. But
he was blasted for starting COVID.
Idiot. Rookie of the year was LaMelo. We both talked about that. I think
that
was an obvious choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Edwards has a case, and Edwards might have deserved it a little bit, but he's not. I think LaMelo probably just had the better overall year. If you're talking about second half of the season,
I think LaMelo is a better player. Out of the two.
Yeah, right now. We'll see what happens in their careers, but the last award was the Executive of the Year, which went to James Jones of the Suns. Awful. I don't know how, because he signed Chris Paul and Jay Crowder. He also took them to the second seed. I just don't even think it's close to what Sean Marks did with the Nets. Lots of signings that he did. I mean, he got LaMarcus, he got Blake, LaMarcus, of course, retired, but he got those two. He got Jeff Green this offseason, traded for Shamet this offseason, traded for Bruce Brown this offseason, and then he also traded for James Harden. That's the biggest move of the year.
Yeah.
I just don't get how he didn't get it. I think he ended up being in third for that running, too. I'm not sure how that happens. All NBA teams. First team was Steph Curry, Luka, Kawhi, Giannis, Jokic. My team, or we both had Steph, Dame, Luka, Giannis, and Jokic. So Dame ended up getting moved to the second team, which, that's not bad.
Because they do the 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a big. And Luka's technically a guard.
Yeah, Luka can be anything. I didn't have Kawhi on the first team, though. I had him on my second team. You had him on your no team. But you didn't do a third team, so you would have had him on the third. The second team was Chris Paul, Dame Lillard, LeBron, Randall, and Embiid. I had Chris Paul, Kyrie, Kawhi, Randall, and Embiid. And then you had Chris Paul, Kyrie, Butler, Randall, Embiid. And then team 3 was Kyrie, Beal, Butler, George, and Gobert. I was the only one that had a third team. I feel like Westbrook had a case. But I had Westbrook, Butler, LeBron, Zion, and Gobert. So I had Westbrook and Zion that didn't make it.
See, my 2 biggest snubs were Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum.
My biggest snub was probably Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook.
Jason Tatum, they tallied up the votes, and the reason he didn't get it is because he had split votes at guard and forward. And they don't combine votes. You can only have one or the other.
I don't know. I guess you could say Tatum deserved it. I just don't know who you take off. I don't think Tatum deserved it more than Paul George.
I think he does.
Paul George had a good year. I guess Tatum did too, but I don't know. Maybe he does. He had a couple 50-point games, yeah. Tatum would probably be my second choice on snubs. But Booker is also a snub. Mitchell could have been a snub. Zion, KD, and Harden, but they didn't play enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can move on to... All right, before we get into these player comparisons, we'll talk about who do you think is the best player in the NBA right now? Come on. I know you don't want to say it, but you got to say it.
Right now,
the best player on the planet.
I'm always going to ride with LeBron, but right now I'm going to say Kevin Durant's above him just by a little bit.
Yeah, I think right now Kevin Durant is the best player in the league.
I'm going to say LeBron until he's retired, but right now I have to say KD's just a little above him.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron had a good enough year to even be top 3 to be talked about right now. He finished the year pretty bad. I know he had an injury, so we'll see what happens next year. But I think the top 3 are KD, Luka, and then that third one's tough. That third one,
Luka over LeBron already?
Right now?
I don't think right now. Even I don't think I could.
At this exact moment, LeBron, 36 years old, almost 37.
I don't say right now. No.
I'm just saying that right now, at this moment, if you're talking about best players in the league, I'm not saying, the start of next season, who's once LeBron's healthy, but I'm saying like right now, how they finished the season. Luka had better stats, better playoffs, better even regular season than LeBron. So right now, Luka is above LeBron. KD, I think, is above Luka, and then the third one. It's really tough because of how many players are showing out in the playoffs. But when LeBron doesn't have the playoffs to show that he's the best player in the league, his regular season numbers do not prove it.
Mm-hmm.
So if he doesn't have the playoffs to show that he is the best player in the league, like he's had since 2010, it's proved that he's the best player in the league every time he comes to the playoffs. Every time he comes to the playoffs, that's when he turns it on. That's when he turns off playoff mode and goes off, and that's when everybody's like, "Oh, yep, he's still the best player in the league." Mm-hmm. This year he couldn't do that. This year he had a not great first round, injuries, whatever. But I'm saying that when he doesn't have the playoffs to prove it, KD had the playoffs to prove it. Luka had the playoffs to prove it. Even though Luka only played 7 games, he still went off in those 7 games. And right now, for me, I think the third would be Kawhi, because
even though he's out with the ACL, he missed the end of last series, this series. If they make it to the finals, he's going to be out.
Playoffs?
I know, but
he did just as good as Luka this whole playoffs.
I know, but right now, but still injured. You have Giannis.
KD's not even in. I'm still putting KD.
But you have Giannis. Giannis's numbers.
Yeah, but Giannis, I don't think is the best player in the league.
I know.
Giannis cannot do anything.
I get that, but if you're going by numbers, Giannis has to be in there.
No, I am going by numbers. His field goal his 3-point percentage, his shooting percentage, his free throw percentage.
Okay, but he's almost all bigs.
I don't care about his rebounds. I'm talking about the best player on the planet.
I get that. I'm not a Giannis fan. I'm not. But I put Giannis over Kawhi right now in the playoff run.
Well, it was because Kawhi is hurt.
Yeah,
that's the only reason
exactly.
why.
Exactly.
But I have Kawhi as he has better stats in the playoffs right now.
If Kawhi's healthy, Kawhi's number 2 over Luka. But he's not.
But we are talking about.
I get what you're saying, but you just brought up injuries, and if it's because of injuries, Giannis.
I'm not talking about injuries. I didn't bring up injuries. Kawhi. I said LeBron could not prove it in the playoffs this year that he is the best player in the league because he got eliminated in round 1, and he made it 6 games. His numbers weren't even that good, but Kawhi's numbers were good. Kawhi's just not playing right now.
Yeah, but right now, Giannis' numbers are still up.
But I think Kawhi is the better player than Giannis.
He had the MVP numbers and everything. Giannis is still killing it like he always does. So you have to put Giannis in the top 3.
I don't have to. I'm not going to put him in the top 3 because I don't think he's the top 3. I think that if Kawhi was there instead of Giannis,
right now.
Nets,
right now.
They whoop us in probably 6 games, 5 games.
Kawhi's a deadly person. Kawhi is crazy good. Right now, since he's hurt,
is Kawhi a better defender than Giannis?
Oh, yeah.
Is Kawhi a better scorer than Giannis? There it is. He's the best player. He's better than Giannis.
Kawhi is hurt.
Well, if you say that, then it doesn't. You could say that about anything.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm still putting LeBron in my top 3, even though he had a rough year. I'm still putting LeBron.
Well, LeBron's hurt. Then why are you putting him in your top 3, but not Kawhi?
You put Kawhi. I had Kawhi at 2. I had Luka at 4.
No, you said that Kawhi is not in your top 3 because he's hurt right now. Giannis is in your top 3.
Because I thought you were going by playoffs, like how they're playing the playoffs right now.
I'm going by who can show it. That's who has shown it. I said who has shown it. Who has shown that they're the best player in the league? Kawhi has shown it.
My top 3 is Durant, Kawhi, LeBron. That's my top 3 right now.
Okay, mine is KD, Luka, Kawhi.
Yeah, once you mentioned Kawhi, that's when I brought up Giannis. Is I thought you were talking about injuries at all, like how they're finishing off the year. That's what I thought you were talking about because you brought up LeBron.
I'm saying that LeBron did not prove it in the playoffs.
No, I got you.
Kawhi has proved it. Kawhi has proven it. Kawhi brought his team to the Western Conference Finals, even though he missed the last 2. He still brought them there. If he was not there in that first series, they are knocked out. If he's not there in the second series, they're knocked out. And he's not there in this first series, they're probably going to get knocked out. So Kawhi, I have up there.
Well, yeah, I have him in mind now too. Now that we're all clarified what we're talking about, he's number 2 in mine.
Okay, I'm just saying that LeBron is not in my top 3.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
And then start Opening tip-off next season, LeBron's number 1.
I can't do that. He didn't prove it. He didn't get to prove it in the playoffs that he is number 1, so he can't. He hasn't proved it to me. He has not proven it to me.
You know what? He jumps to 1, Durant 2, Kawhi 3. That's how it's going to happen. Opening tip-off next season.
Okay, where's AD? AD was at the top. AD was number 2 last year. But there's a discussion about KD. This is what I wanted to lead into since we both agree KD is number 1 at this moment.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr came out and said KD is more gifted than Michael Jordan.
100%.
More gifted.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I agree with that too.
KD's most gifted basketball player ever.
I was reading Stephen A. Smith was going off about this, saying that he's playing in a softer era, and he took it as that KD is better than him.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody said that. And then he's saying that he really he's playing in a softer era, and that he's had teammates, and that has nothing to do with gifts.
I hate when they bring that up about teammates when Jordan had teammates.
I know. I was arguing with somebody on Instagram, and he was like, KD can't carry a team. And I'm like, well, what is your definition of carry? And he was like saying that LeBron carried by himself, no all-stars to the finals back in 2018. Allen Iverson did it back in 2001 or whatever. I was like, okay, so according to your definition, Michael Jordan has never carried. And I got no response after that. But, yeah, so he stopped talking about that. And then, because, KD has carried. Not an entire team through an entire playoffs, but he has, been the leading scorer on the Warriors. He was without them, I doubt they win multiple rings.
Mm-hmm.
You could throw any star in there, and then they probably still win those rings. But I don't know if they are the best player on their team. Steph Curry was on there too, and he was way better than Steph Curry.
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs and the finals. But the Thunder, he was by far their best player and carried. And without him, they don't go anywhere.
Even on the Nets,
even this year, he carried the Nets to Game 7.
If he's not on the Nets and you put just a random player on there, said not star, you put a player on there, I don't think Kyrie and Harden have that good of a year without Durant.
No, exactly. And I think that the definition of carry is just thrown around. But
it's hard to say carry now with all the teams. Not one player can carry a team in this generation.
No, and that's what I was telling him. I was like, nobody can do it alone. He was like, well, LeBron did. And I was like, it's the weakest East ever. Look what happened when he went to the finals.
But he also
same thing with AI.
He also had decent role players to help him go through the East.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that
it's hard
on LeBron because it is impressive what he did and what Iverson did.
Yeah,
but it's not and you're going to tell me Allen Iverson's better than Kevin Durant just because he could carry a team? No, he's not. And that's what I was trying to get to him. I was like, what are you saying? What is the point of this argument?
Basketball player ever. He's like 6'11", shooting threes better than anybody.
That's my point. Michael Jordan just didn't have those gifts.
No.
So Michael Jordan might be the better player, but more accomplished player by far. But I'm not going to say that he's more gifted.
I just hate how they put so much on Jordan being how he did it when he had teammates. He had an amazing coach, one of the best coaches to ever.
And back in that time, that's a super team.
Oh, yes.
And nobody wants to acknowledge that Michael Jordan was on a super team.
Exactly. Like right now, they say that the Clippers are a dynamic super team duo because Paul George and Kawhi. You get how they say that? So do you think Scottie Pippen's better than Paul George?
If you compare it to era, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
in that era, Scottie Pippen was easily a top 5 player.
Exactly. So that's a super team.
Exactly. And Dennis Rodman in that era.
Dennis Rodman was a freak of nature rebounding. If he was in this era rebounding, he'd average 20 rebounds.
People like to say, Dennis Rodman was just a rebounder. I'm like, well, back in that era, he could play defense, he could rebound, and he
was a more talented
player. Post defense back then was really important.
Yeah.
Now, if he was just in today's game, maybe if you just picked him up from there and threw him in, he would just be a rebounder. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But if he grew up in today's era, he'd probably learn how to shoot and score too.
I think if he grew up in today's era, he'd be a guy who can score 15 to 20.
Yeah, I think he'd be. If he grew up in this era, I think he'd be more like you said, maybe a Draymond or
a more talented Draymond.
Yeah, and a more talented PJ Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Better rebounder. But yeah, and then I think that.
Then you Phil Jackson. The best coach to ever do it. In my opinion, he's the best coach to ever do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we agree on that. Let's just skip it. Which player is better? We're going to go to these player comparisons. Most of them are young guys that have been showing up in the playoffs, or just guys that are kind of equal in talent. And
okay, so this is right now. We're doing it right now, or like who we think's gonna like. Say you put a young guy compared to an older guy. Are we doing like their potential too, or just right now?
Most of them are young guys together.
Okay, are we doing potential too on their team, or just how they're doing right now?
I'm just asking you, which player do you feel is the better player?
Okay.
That's all I'm asking you.
All right.
So this is completely opinionated. If you had to rank them, just who do you think is the better player here? So I'll start with the first one. Pretty basic. It's nothing too big. I have Karis LeVert and CJ McCollum. This is just a starter. It's nothing. There, you get some bigger names later. But it's a tough one.
Right now, I'm putting CJ.
Right now, I'm going to go with CJ too. We can always revisit this in like a year and see what happens. But
I want to see a healthy LeVert.
I think LeVert's on this way, and I think CJ is going.
I think CJ's steady. I think CJ's steady.
Okay, I see that too. I think. Yeah, exactly. I can see that. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's CJ for now. Just getting to some bigger names. This one's really easy. I put this one on there before the series. Well, before the series ended. Trae Young, Ben Simmons.
Trae
Young. That's what I'm doing. Colin Sexton or Lonzo Ball?
I'm going Lonzo.
I think I'm going to go Lonzo too. I like that.
I like Sexton a lot.
Good. That's a good one. But that's another one that if Lonzo doesn't start rising a little bit, Sexton's way on the rise. Mm-hmm. So if Lonzo doesn't start picking it up a little bit, he did towards the end of the season. He was shooting.
I love how Lonzo can do everything. That's what I like about
Lonzo. But Lonzo's just got this up and down type of flow, and Sexton's kind of on this uphill. So I thought that's a good one there.
That was tough.
Now, Zion versus Bam Adebayo. I'm gonna go Zion.
I'm going Bam.
Okay.
I like Zion. That was tough. That was hard. But Bam, in my opinion, he's a top 3 center. Like, he's number 3 behind Jokic and Embiid.
Yeah, it's him or Towns. When Towns is healthy, who knows? Tatum or Devin Booker. I'm going with Jason Tatum.
That's tough.
And I had Tatum down before Devin Booker decided to explode the last few games of the Jazz, but after watching Tatum against the Nets, he's there. He's in.
I love Devin Booker, dude. I love Devin Booker, but
this was a really tough one.
I'm gonna say Tatum right now.
Ja Morant versus De'Aaron Fox.
Ja Morant.
Yeah. Man, I like Fox just because I think Morant will have the better career. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Fox had a better season. Fox had scored more and played better defense. Fox gets those steals. I think Morant ended up having a better season because of where he finished. But right now, I'm saying Fox has just got the edge, just a little bit, just right now.
I can see it, yeah.
Donovan Mitchell versus Bradley Beal.
I would say right now Bradley Beal.
I'm saying Beal.
I want to say Mitchell. I do, but Beal he can score like no other.
Yeah, I know that this one was a little bit more controversial when he was, but it's still tough. Paul George versus Zach LaVine.
I'm going Zach LaVine.
I'm going Paul George. I think Paul George is better right now.
I'm a Zach LaVine fan. I like Zach LaVine a lot.
And I know you're a Paul George hater too. So.
I'm not a Paul George hater. It's just I've never been really even when he was in Indiana, I was never really a big fan of Paul George. So yeah.
So here's one that I know which one you're gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the same one, but Michael Porter versus Brandon Ingram.
Michael Porter.
I'm going Michael Porter.
All day long.
I think these are just some comparisons where they're kind of even, kind of close.
Last one. I'm waiting for that Tyler Hero one you're going to throw in there. I figured you were going to throw one Tyler Hero one in there.
Nah, fuck Hero. He's not on the level of these guys yet. This last one was super tough. Only because LaMelo's been in the league 1 year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or LaMelo Ball.
I gotta go Shai.
I like Shai too. I'm gonna like Shai right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just.
I don't know if Shai keeps on going. I'm keeping Shai above him. Like.
Yeah, they but yeah, they just play a lot of light side.
Shai's LaMelo's flashier, but I like Shai. Shai's good.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going Shai. I think LaMelo maybe in a few years if he becomes a little more consistent. Mm-hmm. I think that'll be a good battle in the future too.
Oh yeah, Shai's a lot of people don't talk about him a lot, but Shai is one of my favorite point guards.
Now I know it's one we kind of discussed. Jokic versus Embiid.
All right, now Jokic.
It's so tough for me. I know that I had Embiid above Jokic earlier in the year.
And in the beginning of the year, you said, I changed my mind. Jokic's the best center in the league.
Now I'm starting to think that Embiid is better again.
It's so tough. You can go with it. That's one. I'm putting it as a tie. I'm putting it as a tie.
Jokic is definitely a better playmaker, but Embiid is a better post player, better rebounder, and their shooting isn't too much of a difference.
Right here. They're both right here.
Yeah, they're both tied for the best center in the league. Yeah, it's really tough. Yeah, that's all. That's everything I have, though. Man, I'll add some stuff for next time. It'll probably be after the conference finals, right before the finals start. We can just discuss all about the finals mostly. Forget our teams. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll discuss. What do you think about the Rick Carlisle signing with Indiana?
I think it's gonna be good. I think he had Cuban on him a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. But I don't think that.
I don't know how
he went through an interview process. They just called him up and were like, "Hey, you want to be the coach?" That's basically how it went.
That's nice.
They're just like, you know what? I like that guy. We're just gonna call him up. And
they have to break up that big duo of Sabonis and Turner.
Yeah, Turner's got to go this offseason.
Exactly.
And I think that he'll end up. I really like that Mavs and Porzingis.
I like that a lot too, because Sabonis and Turner, they both can't stretch the floor. That's two bigs.
Exactly, and yeah,
Sabonis.
I think Sabonis as a 5, it works better.
Oh yeah.
And Porzingis is soft, so he can't run the 5.
Where do you think Drummond lands next year? Because he wants a max deal.
Nobody's giving him a max deal.
So you say he's not doing no veteran minimum.
No, I mean maybe not the veteran minimum, but he might get.
He wants the biggest deal he can get. He wants the biggest deal he can get.
The only people that I can see throw money at him are a dumb team like the Kings, or a dumb team like.
I say Hornets.
The Hornets might give him some money.
I see them to give them a big, give LaMelo a big, Bridges a big.
They have to get the Hornets are another one that have to make a deal. They got to get rid of Rozier or Graham. One of them's got to go. You can't just have all those guards.
I think right now Rozier's got the highest ceiling because he can play off.
Plus, I think he makes the most money. So
yeah,
if you want some money, you give him up somewhere. All right, let's get into it. It's a long one.
Yeah, it was.
Had to get it out though. I like those comparisons. I want to try to do some more stuff like that.
We can start doing those in football too. When football gets up and going.
Yeah, I was thinking with basketball, we could also do team comparisons, like which team would win, the 2021 Nets or the 2012 Miami Heat.
Miami. You see what Chris Bosh was saying?
Yeah, with a 3 versus 3. He's an idiot. There's no way 3v3 we win that. Maybe if we get the ball first and we just don't miss shots.
Exactly. But
who's guarding those guys? I mean, Kevin Durant has to be on LeBron, and then James Harden could probably handle Bosh because he's kind of soft. But
I don't know.
Wade and Kyrie. Wade's just going to back him down. It's an easy bucket for Wade.
And Wade's got defense to stop Kyrie.
They all have defense. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of tough to defend too. But whoever Bosh is on is going to get cooked.
Yeah, it's going to. Yeah.
Because even if you put him on Harden can blow past them, step back, something. But I think that's where he was coming at, was they can do things I've never seen before, so I'm going to get cooked off.
Keep on winning, yeah, but Bosh couldn't keep up with Durant or Harden.
No, and Bosch had a quick fall off, man.
I think it was I wish we could have seen a healthy Bosch without the blood clots and see what he could have done. I think it would have been solid. But
Yeah, but even before those, I mean, he was with 2 other stars, so he had to
he
take a back
settled
seat.
into that true third star because he was crazy good in Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what do you think about Kevin Love in the whole Team USA? Even though he didn't play really at all this year.
Oh yeah, I didn't really get to talk about the Team USA. They have a really good squad.
They do.
But you said what about him?
Like Jalen Rose and all of them are actually really mad about how Love got that final spot.
Over who?
That Rose, for example, he said it should have been a dude with color, but they didn't want an all-black team representing USA.
They always bring up race into everything.
Exactly. I think Love, he's had experience with Team USA. I think that's the biggest call they got. Vet. I think that's why they do it. You call the vets first. The vets want to come back, you bring back the vets.
Yeah, and plus they had, I mean, I'm sure they had a selection process of some way, maybe a little tryout of some kind. There's no way that they just went, you know what? He's white.
Now if I'm Cleveland, I am kind of mad that Kevin Love can go play for Team USA, but he couldn't play all year for us. I would say that.
He played towards the end of the year. He played towards the end. Yeah, he was asked. He was hurt all year. I mean, I think it's time. I think it's good for players like that, though. He's going to need an off season where he can get back into game play and get ready again.
He's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to go for them. But nobody wants that money.
They should have done a buyout agreement. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
I mean, how much
if he got bought out? I know I say this about a lot of players, but I'd actually like him on the Heat, stretch the floor, getting 10 points a game, something small. Yeah. A four that can actually stretch the floor. Like I'd like it. I know you would with the Nets if he was a buyout. And
I mean, he's got to be cheap.
Yeah.
Take that. Yeah. Did you see that? What Jay Williams tweeted? He tweeted when the Celtics signed their coach, Udoka.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Celtics signing their first black coach in history." And they were just like, "What?" He literally tweeted that out, and people were like, "Well, they had Doc Rivers. They even won a championship with Doc Rivers. They were actually the first team to have a black coach in the NBA. Where they got Bill Russell as their coach way back when. He was the first black coach in NBA." And then Jay Williams deleted the tweet, and he goes, "Yeah, somebody hacked into my account. I changed my passcode. We're good, guys." And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, idiot, man."
Do you think Doc Rivers is the problem with the 76ers? Or do you really think it's the pairing of Simmons and Embiid?
You got to start with that Simmons and Embiid because they haven't won anything together.
That's what I think. I think if you get rid of Simmons and get CJ McCollum and say you sign Kyle Lowry in the offseason, that's a nice big three. Not bad. Then see what Doc Rivers can do. If he's bad for that, it's Doc too.
Well, I mean, if he ends up as like a 4th seed and gets knocked out in the second round, it's different. But if he ends up that 1 seed again and can't get past the Atlanta Hawks in the second round, then he's got to go. And I don't know what team would want to sign him after blowing leads and blowing games and
yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of it for me. Then it works.